You forgot your WordPress admin password, the password reset email goes nowhere, and you have a launch in 1 hour. There is a way out. You can rewrite the password hash directly in the database. But there is a right way and a dangerous way. Today, we cover the legacy hash WordPress has used since 2008, the modern bcrypt path, and how the two formats live side by side. By the end, you will know exactly which one to use. Editing the database to change a password sounds shady, but sometimes it is the only option. The most common case is a lost admin password with no working email. Site migrations also count when you move a site to a new host and the staging copy needs different credentials. Setting up developer or staging environments is another. The common thread is simple. You have legitimate file system and database access. You are not breaking into anything. You are recovering control of something you already own. Every WordPress install has a table called WP_users. The column we care about is user_pass. It stores a hash, not the password itself. WordPress never stores plaintext because if your database ever leaked, plaintext passwords would hand attackers every account on your site. So the only thing in user_pass is a one-way hash. Here is the table structure. Here is the catch most people miss. WordPress does not use bcrypt by default. It uses something called phpass, short for portable hash. Under the hood, it is a stretched MD5 wrapper that loops thousands of times to slow down brute force attacks. The hash string always starts with a $sign, a capital P, another $sign, and a capital B. That prefix is how WordPress knows it is a phpass hash. This algorithm has been the WordPress default since 2008, and it is still what most sites in the wild are using right now. When a user logs in, WordPress reads the stored hash and looks at the first few characters. If it sees the phpass prefix, it runs the phpass verifier. If it sees the bcrypt prefix, which starts with a $sign, then test website, then another $sign, it routes the check to the built-in PHP password verify function. This prefix sniffing is the secret that lets the two hash formats coexist peacefully on the same site. To create a hash that WordPress will accept, you use the PasswordHash class that ships inside WordPress core. You require the class file, then construct it with an iteration count of 8 and a portable flag set to true. Then you call hash password with your chosen plaintext password. The output is a string starting with the phpass prefix, ready to paste straight into the database. Now the SQL. Update the user_pass column for the matching login. Always include a where clause. If you forget it, every user on the site gets the same password, including subscribers and ex-employees. After this query runs, the admin can log in with the new plaintext password immediately. No plugin reload, no cache flush, nothing. So, how do you actually use bcrypt with WordPress? You have two paths. WordPress 6.8, shipped with native bcrypt support for new password hashes, so if you're on a recent install, you already have it. If you're on an older version, you install a small plugin called WP-password-bcrypt. The plugin overrides two core functions, wp-password and wp-check-password. Once it is active, every new login and every new account creates a bcrypt hash instead of a phpass one. To generate a bcrypt hash, you do not need WordPress loaded at all. PHP has a built-in function called PasswordHash. You pass the plaintext, a constant that selects the bcrypt algorithm, and a cost factor. Cost 12 is a sensible default for modern server hardware. The output is exactly 60 characters long and begins with the bcrypt prefix. The update statement for bcrypt looks identical to the phpass one. Only the hash string changes. WordPress reads the prefix when the user tries to log in and routes the verification to the right algorithm. Whether you pasted in a phpass hash or a bcrypt hash, the user logs in the same way. The site does not care, as long as a recognized prefix is at the front. This is the part that confuses people. When you enable bcrypt on an existing site, your old phpass hashes are not rewritten in bulk. They stay in the database exactly as they were. The migration happens lazily, one user at a time. Each time a user logs in successfully, WordPress notices the old phpass prefix and quietly rehashes the password using bcrypt before saving it back. Until every active user logs in at least once, both formats coexist in your WP users table. That is by design, and it is safe. The only users who never get migrated are users who never log in again. Raw SQL is powerful and unforgiving. If you have shell access to the server, there is a much safer alternative called the WordPress command line tool, or WP-CLI for short. One command updates the password for a user by login name. The tool uses the correct hashing function for whatever version of WordPress you are on. No prefix mistakes, no SQL typos, no risk of forgetting the where clause. If the tool is installed, prefer it every single time. A quick word on cost factors. For bcrypt, the cost is a power of 2, and each step doubles the work. Cost 10 is the PHP default, but it is starting to feel light on modern hardware. Cost 12 takes roughly a quarter of a second on a typical web server, which is the current sweet spot. Cost 14 is even safer, but adds noticeable login latency on shared hosting. Pick the highest value your server can absorb without making logins feel slow. Benchmark on the real hardware before you commit, not on your laptop. Whatever you do, never store plaintext passwords in user_pass. WordPress will not authenticate against them, and worse, a database leak hands every credential to attackers in clear. Also, never store a bare hash from the old MD5 algorithm. WordPress 2.5 dropped raw MD5 support back in 2008, and the algorithm is broken against modern hardware anyway. A consumer graphics card can crunch billions of MD5 guesses per second. Always use a recognized prefix, either phpass or bcrypt, so WordPress can verify it correctly, and so attackers actually have to work. So that is the full picture. WordPress ships with phpass, modern installs and plugins enable bcrypt, and both hash formats live side by side until each user logs in once. Use the command line tool when you can, raw SQL only when you must, and pick a cost factor that matches your server, not your laptop. The next time someone is locked out at midnight, you have a script and a strategy, not a panic.